goes to show you cannot predict a Grand Tour bunch sprint, can you? All eyes on Mads Pedersen, on Olaf Koy, on Caden Groves, on Sam Bennett. And Van Uden went and took it.
I mean, fair play to him. What an amazing sprint. What an amazing lead out by that team as well. And it seems all down to them helmets. The ones that I was slagging off, they're obviously very quick. But I'm joking aside, they absolutely nailed that lead out, leaving it late as possible. Going to the right-hand side of the road, coming out of that corner, only leaving the left-hand side open, which was difficult to get going on. They just executed it brilliantly. The speed carried all the way to the line. Incredible, incredible win.
Yeah. Robbie, just talk me through this then, because he was off the front for a long time there, wasn't he?
The exit of that final corner was 300 metres to go, and he sort of got out of it, and he realised his lead-out man was sort of starting to drop in the speed after an incredible effort. But he said, OK, nothing better to do than just go now, because otherwise if you wait, you get swamped, you get boxed in, you've lost your chance. So he was brave, and he just went. And I just said it in commentary, it's like he put up a force field behind him and just nobody could get close.
Straight line as well, though, wasn't it? So the perfect delivery, and he just had space in front with that little bit of a tailwind as well to go long. About 300 metres, I mean, that was massively impressive.
Let's look again at this sprint, though, because that was incredibly impressive, and all our eyes were in lots of different directions. Okay. I don't think this screen is working, so you can do it back there, Adam.
If you just stand here 1 second, so we've got a clear view of this. Flipping it, you put that iron off, haven't you? You're taking the mick here or something. Go Ayers!
Can we have a still for Adam?
Right, if we play this from here, we've got a on the front and Alpecin. This is quite difficult to make out, but this is roughly, I think there's two riders off the front at this point that we can't quite make out. So Affini's closing that gap, eventually gets back to them, but this is the point where Picnic points to Nell here. They come on the right-hand side and they come with serious speed. On the right-hand side, you've also got Sam Bennett just up there that's tucked in. As they bend round to the left, now Picnic, Post and Elle are in the perfect position. That scramble behind, you can see Olaf Koy down here, and then you've got Zylard from Tudor just sat on the wheel. At this point, it's quite calm in these top 5 positions, but down here, you've got Moschetti trying to move up. And at this point here, for me, this is where Sam Bennett and Mads Pedersen should have started going. The bend round to the left, use that slingshot effect, just to come wide and use that speed. You can see they go all the way up to the side of the road, but there's a big gap still between that barrier. With around 250, 300 to go out that corner, this is when the sprint opens up. Pedersen's already started, yet too late. Koy on the left-hand side sits down, moves to the left-hand side of the wheel, and then starts his sprint, and it's visible to see the acceleration from him. Watch when he starts going, how quick he starts to run at that wheel. It's like a switch has been to him. I've got free space, starts to run really quickly, but it's just a little bit too late. And Sam Bennett on the right-hand side here, he had an extreme amount of speed coming down the right, but just that box was closed off, rightly so by Pedersen. It was a chaotic sprint, and Groves coming right at the late. It was just a very, very chaotic sprint, and I think the main part before it was just the corner. The corner before it, if you're in a good position there, you can really make some adjustments to how you came in that finish. I think as soon as he came out of corner, it was just a little bit too late. Everyone was either pinned, meaning that they were on the limit, or they just had nowhere to go.
And Koy was, you could just see, you're talking about Koy, he was just overlapping Canters well ever so slightly. He had to ease, but then the pace that he managed to get, it was just too late with that tailwind as well, wasn't it?
Sprint from
Koy,
he got himself
on the wrong side, then realised this is not the side I'm going to get through, so he had to just wait a moment, ease off on the pedals, get himself back to the left, and then make another acceleration. Meanwhile, Casper Van Uden, he was fully wound up and not faltering. But there's so many things happening in that sort of 500 to 300 metres to go. A lot of shuffling. Caden Groves got himself shuffled and boxed in a number of times. And Koy was sort of then caught right in the middle. And Mads Pedersen, at the same time, it felt like he wanted to go, but he felt like he was going to get boxed in, so he waited until he was sure of where it was going to be open. And like you said with Sam Bennett, you sometimes come flying. You feel like, I'm going faster than everybody. There's just simply nowhere to go.
Yeah. I think as well, just with Picnic, Post and Elle, they took the longer line, but the longer line often gives you a little bit more pace. So they took the right, dominated the right, took a longer line around the left-hander, but ended up with just that little bit more space. But when he took it up, I mean, it was impressive.
That front-on shot as well, when he come out the corner, it looks from the head-on like there's not a lot of room on the right-hand side of the road because the shadows. There was still a lot of room on the right-hand side to move. And, as a rider, when you've got the sunglasses on and everything, you can see where the edge of the road is. But normally, if you come out of a corner, you move straight to the side and use that. So anyone that's coming round where the only room is, that's blocked off immediately. But there wasn't in this instance. There was room, but everyone just left it too late.
It's pretty much a textbook. I'm going to go back a few teams. So Picnic, Post and Elle now was Sunweb, was Skill Shimano. And for years and years, they've done this ambush lead-out technique where they don't just go from the front, line it out and drag it all the way in for 5K. They wait within the last kilometre. They follow other teams and then make their move with only 2 or 3 of them together. But it's an ambush moment, and it happens so quickly and so close to the line that there's little or no time to react anymore and get things right. It's tricky to get that move right with the timing, but when it does, you end up with a result like this. And Van Uden, he's been showing signs of being this quick for a couple of seasons now. Finally done it at Grand Tour level in his debut.
Huge moment in the life, in the career of this young man. How impressive was that, Robbie?
The only answer to that question is the future is now, baby.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you what, these next sprint stages, get ready to see all the sprinters wearing aero helmets. I mean, I was taking a mick about it, but it's obviously helped and it's obviously worked wonders. So Laser, the team sponsor, they've done them wonders here. They've got a stage winning an aero helmet.
It looked like, what was it, the Olympic team sprint moving up on the hillside. There was 3 of them, all the helmets dialed, weren't they, rolling through? But it was
as well.
Yeah, they were on a mission, weren't they? As you said, it was a proper ambush.
Yeah, he's a strongly built guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's powerful.
And Robbie, as you noticed as well, even though he's from the Netherlands, he's adopted a slight twinge of an accent from your motherland.
Yeah, I noticed when he was speaking English, he says a lot of things with an Australian accent, bit of Australian intonation as well. Maybe the fact he's had Luke Roberts as a sport director previously for a couple of years. Riders in the team like Chris Hamilton, he's from Bendigo, which is sort of about 150 kilometres from Melbourne, out into I won't say the bush, but they have quite a characteristic Aussie twang. So I think Casper Van Uden, maybe they room together. It's sort of just by osmosis. He's started Australianising the way he speaks English.
Yeah, well, it's his legs.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't. His legs are doing the talking today. Anyway, what a phenomenal day for that team who have been on the cusp of the relegation zone in the final year of that 3-year cycle. So a huge win for the team as well as for Casper himself, and of course him giving credit to all of the staff both at the race and back at base. Shall we take a little look at this crash though that we saw with some 20k to go as we came into the first circuit, and we knew this circuit was going to be complicated. We didn't expect Mads Pedersen to be one of the riders caught up.
Not surprised though. With 50k to go in commentary, that whole team was towards the back. And we mentioned this at the start of the show today, even before the race began. A crucial point will be the entrance to this circuit, and even with 50k to go, they were stacked across the road, all the teams. So that's Søren Kragh Andersen, Mads' lead-out man, who came down. He has finished. He came across the line with his holding his arm up, so he's got across the line. We don't know if he's OK yet or not to start tomorrow. Fingers crossed for him. But to me, they just seem way too relaxed today, like too far out.
It was the second time, wasn't it? We had
second time,
as well.
Yeah. So I think for them, it's just they know what they're capable of and they know how good they're going, and they'll be riding off a lot of confidence. I think that confidence, I'm not going to say got the better of them today, but they just didn't seem to grab this race by the bull or horns like they have done the last couple of days and get to the front. And I think that both incidents, it's not because they're at the back the first time, but the second time, they should have been at the front. There was no excuses for them being at the front. All the other sprint teams there, all the GC teams, to me, it just looked like they took the foot off the gas for a little bit too long, and then they had come into problems.
It could be that they've just, because they've had so much success, that is the place that they're in, and everybody else now is even hungrier, and they've just been that little bit more focused. We saw just the job that Pickney Postonel did today in the final. But again, I don't think they've necessarily kept their foot off the gas. I just think they're staying the way they are, and that isn't enough. They even have to be hyper-focused. So it's one of the two. But to see Mads still in the jersey, but caught behind 2 crashes today, they're going to need to look at that, aren't they, as they go, especially tomorrow's stage.
Well, he finished 4th in the end, Mads Pedersen, and he does, of course, keep the pink jersey, the Maglia Rosa that he started the stage with. Interestingly, we're just watching him on the podium right now, but a few moments ago we were able to see on our screens here in the studio Mads before he came onto the podium, and he had a bit of a 1,000-yard stare, Robbie. Not quite the same excitability that he had pulling on this jersey a few days ago in Albania. I think he's probably trying to process a little bit of what happened today and why it went wrong. And I say wrong in context, of course, because he did end up finishing 4th.
Yeah, but 4th is nothing to celebrate for a sprinter, and when you've won 2 stages, then 4th is a long way back from that. And so there's not the excitement, and it will be the prospect of possibly losing a teammate to injury. Kragh Andersen has finished, but he did hurt himself. But I don't know if we can accuse them of some level of complacency in the way they were riding. It shouldn't have been down to lack of scouting or lack of knowledge of the course, but it was on a really narrow side of the road. One side was one car wide, the other one was significantly wider but led to the outside of a long roundabout. So everybody had to be on that left side. They would have known that, but they were too far back and got caught up. So Mudd's made his way back to the front and he made a good fist of it. In fact, watching the sprint finish from overhead, it actually looked like he got third at the line. But the photo finish equipment is not always exactly lined up with what we see on the road. But he'll be disappointed at a missed opportunity, despite having 2 wins already. He would have expected better of himself.
I think he'd be happy with that, you know. I think in the consideration of I think if he didn't have the mishap, but the way he performed in the sprint, he knows, he said publicly that he's not an out-and-out sprinter, he's a strong sprinter. And the riders that are in front of him today, pretty much pure sprinters almost, pretty much all of them. So I don't think he'll be too disgruntled with it. Yes, he'd have wanted more and maybe could have got more. But I think if you look at his outlook coming in, knowing that already he wasn't going to be right up there, I think 4th for him is round about where I'd expect him to be in a sprint like this.
Yeah, I agree, but I think it's the 1,000-yard stare. There's a couple of near misses today, and it's just like I got through that because that was super stressful. There was a lovely slow-mo with 1 lap to go, which zoomed in on Mads' face, and he looked like, okay, I've got back on again. It's like, how many chances do I need? I mean, I'm in the pink jersey. I've been out the back twice, caught behind crashes, and it's like the realisation that I'm still here, but boy, by the skin of my teeth, it could have been a lot worse. So I think he was almost processing the what-ifs today.